Oh, this one is rich. Okay, let's just dig right into it. You know that I have spent a lot of time talking about Revelation chapter 13. Now, in Revelation chapter 13, we learn about a very, very unique individual. I'm not talking about the final Antichrist, although the final Antichrist is in Revelation chapter 13. He sets himself up in the temple and demands to be worshiped. But that's not really what I'm talking about here. What I'm referring to is this person called the false prophet. Now, what the false prophet does is pretty remarkable in that he calls himself a leader of religion or in religion. He calls himself somebody who's connected to God, and yet the God that he chooses people to worship is not the true and living God. The God that he forces people or, deceives people into worshiping is really the final Antichrist. Now, the guy that I'm about to talk to, I think is going to be either a very, very good helper or maybe even a top lieutenant for this false prophet. He's a globalist. His name is Ed Stetzer. I don't think Ed's ever built a church a day in his life. I think the guy, all he does is tear down churches. That's what this guy does. That's the reality of this man. He is not a good guy. Now, Ed Stetzer has managed to put himself into another global community to, yes, ladies and gentlemen, come against Christians. To come against Christians. Folks, you're not going to believe this, but this guy joined the Council on Foreign Relations to deal with what he calls conspiracy theories in the church. He's making an issue of the 2020 election. He's making an issue of all kinds of other things that he says the church is sort of in the middle of, and the church is sort of, spewing out a bunch of conspiracy theories. And in essence, what he is doing is he is pointing out members of the church, the true church, the real church, that are taking a stand for righteousness, and he is seeking to make them look crazy and infiltrate the global community so that he can actually be the leading voice on how to pretty much throw the real church away. It's amazing what this guy is doing. It's amazing the kind of nonsense that he continues to be yielded to. By the way, he's a good friend of Brian Broderson. That's a whole other story. I'll just leave that alone. But this guy who claims to be a pastor, he claims to be a spiritual leader, is literally going out of his way to make sure that the globalists who are chasing after the New World Order will be in the prime position to get rid of the ideals and the philosophies of those who are actually truly following the Word of God and know the Scriptures. You want to talk about 30 pieces of silver. Holy smokes. The article that I'm actually reading about this issue is on a website called 30 Pieces of Silver. Unbelievable. Folks, I told you that this would be coming. I told you that there would be traitors of the faith, people who have walked away from the truth. Maybe they were never in the truth in the first place, but people whose whole job will be to teach the world how to persecute Christians. Understand something, folks. People ask me all the time, and I will just stop the video after I say this. They ask me all the time, they say, James, don't you think you're causing division in the church? And I simply say this, no, I'm not. As a matter of fact, I'm actually blessed with what I'm seeing, because this is not division in the church. What this is God taking the church and throwing it at the threshing floor, and he is separating the wheat from the chaff. And the man that I just spoke to you is most definitely the chaff. He is wanting to cut down the wheat like nobody's business. We need to be aware of people like him. It's amazing to me how these guys constantly say they're apolitical people. They don't get into politics, yet they're more political than I will ever be. It's sad that it's going in this direction. But folks, this is evidence of the fact that Jesus is coming soon. We are in the last days. We're in the final days. And this is evidence of that very thing. Folks, keep your eyes open. Keep your heads up. And whatever you do, stand for the truth. Do not let these lies continue to be communicated. Why? Because so much is at stake. Jesus is coming soon. And we walk in obedience because we are called to walk in obedience. That's the command of God. God bless you.